One day, after the Great War with the Terminators, hopefully my descendants will still be around and they can look back and see what their grandfather or their great-grandfather or whatever generation ends up seeing this was like. Maybe that's wishful thinking. One of the things in life that kind of irritated me was that I never really got the sense that my ancestors gave a shit about me. And supposedly, I had some pretty cool ancestors that did some pretty cool things. None of that got passed down. And it's not just about the stuff, it's about like the stories, the lessons, the ideology, the values. And you might say, well, it's really difficult. No, it's not. And that is the topic of today's video because look at the families that run the world. And if you're still in denial that that exists, listen, you probably aren't in denial that Guinness, yes, Guinness beer, has been around for more than 250 years. And they are very proud of the fact, and they use it in their marketing, that their beer has had the same family recipe for more than 250 years. And so you probably believe that, you accept that, you don't get instantly skeptical, you don't call that a conspiracy theory, you just believe that the Guinness Beer Company has had the same family recipe for a quarter of a millennia. But if I say the Rothschilds banking family has had control of the central banks of most of the world, especially the Western world, for more than 250 years, you freak out. You think I need to put tinfoil on. You think I'm talking conspiracy theories. So why do you believe Guinness can pass a beer recipe for 250 years, but the people who were controlling all of the central banks of Europe, that they weren't able to do that for the same amount of time when you're talking about literally the most powerful financial institutions on the planet? And when one of the guys, one of the grandfather, great, 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 great grandfathers said, if you give me control of a country's monetary supply, I care not who makes its laws. Federal Reserve, anybody? All right, so we're going to scout because this year is going to be very, very interesting. As I said on January 1st, I'm really excited because I feel like we have a formidable enemy now, a real one. Whereas the last few years were like fighting blue-haired Starbucks baristas. Now we can actually go after the head of the snake, the one world government globalist agenda, the transhumanist agenda, which wants to remove the human spirit completely and merge us with technology. They hate you. And you definitely don't hate the system enough. And I don't use that word lightly. I almost never use the word hate. I believe in higher frequencies of reason and courage and love and joy and peace and seeking that spiritual connection with divinity, which is another word for that is enlightenment, sort of the highest frequency. But when it comes to the globalists, the people who run this world, we need to channel our inner Jesus Christ. You know, the one with the whip in his hand, overturning the money changers' tables in the temple, calling them the synagogue of Satan. That Jesus. Because you truly don't hate the system enough. I'll give you an example of why I'm thinking about this today. Just one example of thousands across every sector in the world. Remember, the same people that run the financial system also control media, entertainment, education, big food, big pharma. Of course, the financial system, they control all of the NGOs, all of the think tanks, all the nonprofits. What else do they control? Oh, probably they control religion at the highest levels of organized commercial mainstream religion. And what this does is it creates a system of maximum dependency. Everything in our lives is built around this system. Everything from birth until death and even after death because of estate taxes, inheritance taxes. This is just one example. I'm just going to go on that little tangent. I'm going to do like Trump. I'm going to weave. So think about this. If you've never heard about this, the stupidity of the inheritance tax. A family inherits a farm that's been in the family for, say, 2 or 3 generations. But now there's an inheritance tax. So they are on the hook immediately that year, the year that their parents died and willed them this farm. They're on the hook for the tax on that. So if we say the tax is 40%, Say it's $1 million farm. They're on the hook for $400,000. How are they going to pay for that? They have to sell the farm, which means that the government or BlackRock or whoever is going to go in and basically steal the farm. That's just one example. If you step back and zoom out and just look at the whole macro of what's happening in the world today, don't be surprised if Trump is really serious about trying to take Greenland, Canada, Mexico, all the way down to the Panama Canal through Central America. This isn't make America great again. This is New World Order, globalist plan for a one world government to enslave humanity. Period. And one of the reasons why I want to rant about this sometimes, and why honestly it's hard to point positive all the time, but this is me scouting the rapid of what's ahead, because it's been very quickly established before Trump has even taken office that he's controlled, that it was a Trojan horse, that it's not about liberty, it's not about values, constitutional values, sovereignty. It's not about any of that. It's about globalist control of the planet and resources. And so, yes, I can enjoy this process, but it's also one that's like, all right, now it's time to get angry and fight back. Now we have a real opponent. That's the thing about like the last few years. It really felt hard. I mean, I remember having so many discussions, conversations in 2020 and 2021. So what 2020 was the lockdowns. 21 was the advent of the jab. So many intense conversations with people who just couldn't understand what I was mad about. And like, I do want to love life. I do want to enjoy life. And so when the people that are closest to me, and when just people that I respect, people that have been friends, whatever, are like, dude, shut up, why are you so negative? Why are you so angry? It's not that I'm so angry. It's because I love life so much that I want to burn down the system and build something better in its place, because I'm never going to be a slave. And to say that then is a little bit hypocritical too, because obviously I'm not just living off grid, completely disconnected from society, living in a hut in the forest. So a lot of my life has also depended on the system, and I've used it, or I've worked within it, etc. I've wanted things that the system said were cool or whatever, right? Well, I'm guilty of it, been part of it. But there comes a point in time where you have to make a choice, where you have to decide what's worth fighting for, what's worth losing everything for, and what's not. And this is one of those times when I can scout the rapid and say, yeah, this is do or die. We don't get out of this the same people that we were when we jumped in. We don't have any choice at this point. We're in it, right? Life, love, and liberty are worth fighting for. They are. And at this point, it's cowardly to just sit back and be like, well, but I want to have a nice life. I don't want to rock the boat. Don't, don't. But as much as I am capable of making any difference whatsoever to anybody, I'm going to rock the boat.
Like and subscribe.